Welcome everyone. Today I have an updated Immortal Warrior build. So over here we're running a Citadel with tier 17 maps with +2 rank and also tier 15. So let's have a look at the demonstrations and then I'll show you guys the stats of the current Totem summoning warrior that is almost immortal. Now looking at this warrior, as you guys can see, which I move my head a little bit, this is gonna be a warrior that is stacking a lot of life regen that summons totems together with ancestral spirit that can be a ranged summoning class. And here we're testing this on multiple content with tier 15, tier 17, tier 18, and also there's no problems with any of the content in the game. You can see that our totems will do massive amount of AoE, slams, and also with additional benefits of gaining more armor, stacking a lot of block chance with tons of life regen. This build is one of the most survivable and also tanky build that I have seen in Path of Exile 2 for a budget. Now I'm sure there's other build that can be even stronger or tankier, but this build is definitely rather cheap on a budget that is easily accessible to the players. So fast forwarding a little bit, it is harder to see the HP drop because you have so much regen. Now just to show you guys the stats of the current warrior from my friend. So he is a level 91 warrior with over 3000 HP after updating his gears, and also you can see the total life regen is close to 569 life regen per second. Now over here you can also see his other stats. Everything is maxed out with resistance to 75%. Over 4000 armor with scavenger plating, this increased armor even further, and also close to 90% block chance. Yes, 88% block chance. We also have cast on block as well, which I'll go through with you guys. So this build has some really cool mechanics and it is very durable and also safe to play any content using this build. Now fast forwarding towards the Citadel boss, usually this boss is the one that plays dice the most in the previous patch, and you can see that we don't really have problems against the boss. We can tank pretty much everything and the life is not really lost because we have so much regen. And that is the best part about the build. So what I'll do is I'll also fast forward towards one of the Uber bosses, one of the Pinnacle bosses with the Arbiter of Ashes. All the recordings will be available for you guys to have a look, and you can see the abilities and also the tankiness of the build. I wouldn't say this is going to be the highest DPS boss build or the fastest, but it is by far one of the most tanky build with a very low budget and also the ability to just tank up everything. You can see the damage of the build is not that low and we can still take chunks of the boss's health in a few seconds. So the damage and also survivability is both highly ranked for this updated Immortal Warrior. Now similar to all the build and also guides, we'll have the availability of the full entire tier 17 run to demonstrate to you guys, and over here we also have one of the Uber bosses runs. All the gears and also current skill links will be available for you guys to have a look. We'll also briefly go through this in the video as well. If you guys have seen the previous video, this is an updated version of the previous video. So if you want more details on this build as more of a mid-game startup, make sure you check out this previous video. Now, at the same time, we also want to say thanks and also credits to PoE Guy. And I checked with my friend, he started learning the build from PoE Guy, but then he made his own adjustments. Let's briefly coming over to the stats and also everything related to the build, and I think it might be a little easier if I go through the stats with you guys with the recording instead of going with the builder's guide so you can see his current exact stats. Keep in mind guys, he has invested over 5 divines into the build, so even though I say it's a budget, you expect him to invest about 4 or 5 divines at least in the end game stage. Now the previous setup is a little cheaper should you want to check it out, with less need of a 5 socketing gems and also with less requirement for the gears. My friend was able to get to level 90 using the previous build, and once he farmed some currencies, he moved towards this one. So briefly having a look at the gears of choice. In terms of the weapons, you're using a 2-handed mace and your goal is to get all melee skills to rank 7 if you can, and this will help you to boost the highest damage. In terms of the helmet, it is much recommended to use the Vertex over here, simply because in order to wield a 2-handed mace, it requires a lot of strength. You can also use a number of different items and also gems with a minus 50% reduced attribute requirement for the skill gems and also equipments. Now my friend has also been corrupting those helmets to gain even more life regen. This is how he was getting over 560 life regen because of this. He was socketing for additional life regen, but he also decided to socket for additional life, and this is optional depending whether you want more life or more life regen for the socketing. In terms of the shield, this one is quite interesting. Previously, he was using a life regeneration shield, but after testing and also trying things out, he wanted to change into this unique shield with the Saving, and this allows him to have close to 90% block chance with 88% block chance. So if you come over to this shield, not only you are granted the ability to cast on block, which can be socketed to be auto-casting your Orb of Storms, it also grants you additional block chances because block chance is not lucky. Now, I didn't know about this after he told me. This is actually quite interesting. So even your block chance is lowered to 65 maximum block chance. With the block chance as lucky, you now have 88 block chance. And with the ascensions and also passives we're going to see, this makes this build extremely durable and also tanky with all the block chance and also blocking without having to raise a shield, making you super durable and also auto-casting spells. Now in terms of amulets, we're going with +3 to all melee skills. After that, getting additional life, percentage life, any resistance will be great. You can also anoint the amulet with shield expertise, increasing block chance even further. Now as for the body armor, we can go with additional life of course, and also life regen for the body armor. My friend has also socketed additional gems because he valved everything. So keep in mind, a lot of the items were valved because he went onto a rage valving spray. It did break some items, so be careful of that. And the base of the armor piece of course also regens life. In terms of the rings, it is quite straightforward. You want lots of maximum life, resistance wherever you can find them, and this is the case for both of the rings as you guys can see. As for the belt, you're looking for additional armor, additional life, and also additional resistance. Additional life regen will be great. You can see that he also valved this one for additional cold resistance. So yes, he broke several pieces of gears, and those are the new gears he had left over. In terms of the boots, you can see that he had movement speed fractured and then a lot of life, a lot of resistance, and this is also valved for 2 sockets. He has decided to go with additional life over life regen at this moment. So the previous build, he was going with life regen. And over here you can see maximum life on the gloves, +2 to all melee skills, and then additional life over here. So tons of life stacking, and we're regenerating based on life as well. Now briefly coming over to the juice of socketing. So as for cast on block, we have Orb of Storms, which is auto casted, combining this one with Front of Rage, Front of Blood, and also over here we have Magnify effect. And this allows us to auto cast with Orb of Storm multiple times that will enable us to buff both of the Ancestral Warriors and also the Warrior Totems. So for the Ancestral Warriors, we're going with more defensiveness, and this will allow us to have some form of protectivity and also more durability and also utility. We're combining this with Mid Shield together with Elemental Army, Main, Calling Strike, and also over here we have Blind. So you can see that we have lots of utility and also durability for those Ancestral Warriors. Now in terms of the Ancestral Warrior Totems, this is when we do the highest damage, with Sundering and also Heavy Strain, Heft, and also Brutality, finally with Upheaval for even more AoE damage for the clears for mapping. Now over here we have also added Resonating Shield with Rage and also Break Posture together with Mobility for more movement. We have Shield Charge for mobility of course, and as for Time of Need, we now have Fast Forward together with Vitality and also Herbalism for constant auras and also to use up the Spirit. Now don't worry about the Shield Wall and also Force Walls, they're not really used. We have decided to go with Scavenge and Plating with Persistence to gain even more armor. And this also means we no longer use auras like Basami because this doesn't feel like as beneficial compared to the other usage of the Spirit. Now I know what you guys might be wondering, how about using a companion with auras? So my friend spent a few hours looking for some of the best auras, looking for haste. He couldn't find haste, but he found extra physical damage aura. He also found all damage shocks. So he was running companions, but the downside of running companions with the warrior without having the dexterity and also without having enough minion life is that the companions were dying too fast. So this is one of the reasons he didn't run companions, but you can run a companion with this build as a warrior summoner. And of course guys, look around to see how you can be resetting maps for additional auras. You're looking for the haste aura, extra physical damage aura, and everything that will help your team and also survivability. But the downside of the companions is that in the later game for tier 15 or even tier 17, tier 18 plus, they die super fast and it takes a while to revive. Now coming over to the passive tree, that you can see that there has been some changes with the previous setup. So over here with the passive tree, we have went over here for the final ascension so that the totems can now tank up a little bit fast to make us even more durable. In terms of the pathing, that you can see there's a more allocation towards block chance. But once you have maxed out block chance, you don't have to go as much block chance. You can see there's more allocation in terms of regenerating life per second. And of course, with high levels, we're going to get as much totem damage and also totem utility, totem damage as we can, together with block and also life regen. So this will be the main theme of the setup. So you can see the choices of the notables over here. And of course, over here, we're still casting spells with life instead of mana because we have so much life regen. And also we'll be able to dual wield two-handed maces with one hand. Now, I do want to highlight over here, we're looking for global physical damage on the jewels together with life regen percentage. So you can see most of the jewels will be tailored or targeted towards that particular section. Now, should you want for additional block chance, you can also find those on the jewels, but this can be a little harder. Usually you want a bit of global physical damage and also life regen. You can see there has been some adjustments over here. Some points were removed because we no longer needed the extra stats, and it's a little too costly to go all the way for one additional jewel. But other than that, you can see that this build is going to focus on totem damage, additional block chance, and also tons of life regen. Even the small life regen nodes will help to add up for some really good life regen, and you can see the entire life regeneration is close to 570 at the current level for level 91. You're also stacking tons of life and also lots of defense to make an immortal warrior that can also summon units. So now briefly going through the skill rotations and also combination of the build. Well, it's quite straightforward. You're just summoning totems, working around, and also casting real resonance shield when you're next to enemies. Most of the time you don't really have to do that as well. Your totems will be able to one-shot everything, and this has some great AoE as well as you move around the map. You can play it safe as a summoner to go at the back, or you can move forward and then start blocking and also soaking up some damage and also tanking up for your totems. As you guys can see over here, most of the time the totems will have no problems with anything on the map, and those monsters will get one-shotted. And as you take more damage and as you block, you'll be auto-casting your Orb of Storms, which can be great way to provide buff for both of you and also for your totems. And in terms of mobility, you can also use shield charge to move a little faster across the map. So for the entirety of the tier 17 map clear, we didn't have any problems, and you can see he's super durable, and for a majority of the modifiers, he can ignore them, he can tank them up, and the totems will do enough hefty damage against everything on the map. And let's fast forward towards the boss a little bit. You can see that we can soak up pretty much all the damage coming from the boss. And as you block, as you auto cast your spells, this build feels pretty simple to play, and it doesn't require too much skill-based mobility because you're super durable and also super tanky. And you can see the moment we lose a bit of health, it will recover very quickly. So yes, there's not much to be done in terms of skill rotations. You can purposely go in front of the boss and also block a few times or take a bit of damage, because as you take damage, as you block, you will be auto-casting Orb of Storms. And this can be great to buff your entire team, and this also shocks the boss. And other than that, yes, you have so much life regen, and you can just scroll around the map and become an immortal warrior and also clear all the content with save and also comfort of mind. Now, again, this is not going to be the highest damage build, but it sure feels very safe and also very durable. You can see for the entirety of the boss fight, we rarely lose his HP, And the moment we do lose HP, it will instantly recover within the next seconds with over 500 life regen. So what I do now is I'll provide you guys with this entire test run of the T17 map for the Citadel, together with the Pinnacle boss and also the updates of the latest gears, the ruins, the jewels, and everything that's related, so you guys can have a look at the current setup. Now hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. Again, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube, especially our supporters, and also those of you guys who's been supporting me on Patreon as well. And we do have a new feature on the Mattjestic YouTube channel. If you click onto this, you can become a member. Yes, I've added this just recently, and this will allow you to have early access to videos that is posted a few hours or even half a day earlier if you want to watch those videos a little early. But yes, this will cost money. So please be aware the membership will cost money. And if you do want to watch videos normally, those videos will still be available after 6 to 12 hours, normally on the time we post those videos. And I'll be aiming to post at least one Path of Exile video a day, and this will be including guides, tips, news update, and also the latest tricks that is discovered on both the English and also Chinese community to keep you guys updated. And if you like those videos, make sure you leave a nice comment and also leave a like for those videos. Now, before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.